Welcome to another episode of the Daily 3 with your hosts, Michael and David.
The Daily 3, where we write it down and
Make it happen.
maybe
And then take a nap.
take a nap and make it happen.
Take a nap and make it happen. So, Michael, what were your Daily 3 from yesterday, and how'd they go?
Yeah, yesterday I actually had a Daily 2, so I don't think I had to find a third one. I just picked 2, and that was all the further I got. But the first one was to frame up a knee wall and film that process. Didn't touch that one at all.
Way to fail, brother.
Thanks, man. So yeah, that thing didn't. I wrote it down, but I didn't make it happen.
Okay.
And then the second one was to batch edit some podcast episodes and videos, and I made that happen. I made that happen a whole lot.
Way
I was
to
just
go.
going to look at how long I spent on that.
You spent quite a bit of time on that yesterday.
I think it was close to 7 hours.
Woo!
6.5. Yeah, 6.5 hours. So again, a constant and continual theme, I think, for us has been realizing we significantly underestimate how long things will take. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Every time.
One of the things I've noticed, though, is that it feels somewhat productive for me to go through a bunch of episodes and then just put them all in the queue. So they're going to like upload to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were uploading to YouTube all night. And I was like, these are uploading to YouTube. And
You were working?
Yeah. And while I was sleeping, it was like these things are happening while I'm just sleeping. So that was kind of,
Technology is amazing.
yeah. But the other thing is it could just be really, really slow, which is the other reason why it's taking so long. But
What, the internet or?
yeah, or it could be I'm also editing all the footage off of my external hard drive too, which is probably what also makes it slow. Because then it's getting slowed down by the USB 3.0 instead of just being right on the computer's hard drive and pulling from there. And
Right, which is a lot
Publishing.
faster.
yeah.
Hmm.
So next time I batch, I might switch that up as far as where I store the footage until I get it moved around. But yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think it went pretty good.
All right.
It was one of those things where I kind of didn't even realize I was working so long.
Yeah, you said that yesterday. It didn't feel like work. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, I think
Sorry, what did you mean by that?
by that I meant from the 0 to the 4.5 hour mark. I had no idea how. I was not aware of what time it was or how long I had actually been doing that for.
Okay.
So I was just
Have we
editing.
defined work that way in the past? I like that definition of work, where you lose track of time of what is work or not work.
Oh, we've talked about that for rest.
Okay.
So like what things that are restful or playful is what are you doing and you completely lose track of time.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about that.
Which is the opposite definition of work, right?
Yeah, you're always aware of the clock.
Yeah.
I think it can be helpful, but I don't think you have to define work that way.
Okay.
Right? Because sometimes you get in work, you get in the zone. And I think that's kind of what happened. Of all of a sudden, I put my head down and I looked up, and then it was like, whoa, I've been doing this for 4.5 hours already. I was like, where did the time go? And then I realized I'm kind of hungry and I kind of have to pee. And there should maybe be something else I was supposed to do today that I forgot or something.
Right.
Yeah. So it was kind of fun to do that. How about yourself? What were the Daily 3 yesterday for you?
I wrote this down. The
Mhm.
Daily 3 were to read Lord of the Rings a bit, take a nap, and work on Jordan's laptop. I did read Lord of the Rings a bit, and that was enjoyable. Took a walk while I read and sat down at the park. There's a bench at the top of the hill in the park.
Yeah, there is.
So I sat down, and this older gentleman climbed the hill, and didn't speak. Obviously, I don't speak English very well either, but so we were in common there. And so I think he was an older. I think he was Japanese. So it was great because he was very winded, and he was just like, good exercise. Yes, good hill. And I motioned to the bench for him to sit down, and so we sat for a bit and just enjoyed the beautiful day. And I read, and he sat and breathed heavily, and then he, and he had to be like 80 or something. And,
Oh, wow.
And then he sauntered off, and I was like, all right, you have a good day too. And
Yeah, that is a decent sized hill.
it is. So I was impressed by that. I was like, way to go, man. He's just out working out. And Then so that was enjoyable. That was restful, very restful for me.
Good.
I did not take a nap yesterday. Forgot about doing that, and don't know how I forgot about that. But I did, and then I worked on Jordan's laptop and I finished it. So I fixed it.
Nice. You completed it. Start to finish, follow through,
Yeah,
deliver the goods. Now he's got it.
he's got it. It's working again, and that is complete. Thought about filming the process, and then I didn't. So
Yeah.
another thing has been lost for davidroos.com.
If you're going to do it, man, you might as well do it on video.
I might as well document it. Tech tips and
Tech tips with David Roos.
yeah, maybe something else catchy. So what are your top 3 for today? Unless you had any questions, but I didn't think you did.
Yeah, I don't think I do. But if I do, I'll ask him.
All right.
So my top 3 for today, number 1 was to batch edit, continue doing that because I got about, I'd say I'm probably like 2/3 of the way through. So kind of, well, I am now. I was probably about half this morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, just keep working that system, doing that. And then the second one is property management and maintenance. So going over to the duplex, mowing the lawn, and then there's some other stuff that I got to do, like yard work, planting some flowers, dividing up some hostas, trimming some bushes, a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, and just some other small maintenance stuff.
Is it going to rain today? It looks cloudy.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it is cloudy,
but I don't think it's supposed to rain. It's just supposed to be cloudy and cool.
Oh, nice. Perfect weather for mowing.
Yeah. And then thirdly would be to frame up the knee wall and actually do that today. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get to that.
Here's a great question. What would you have to do to make all of those happen? To get every single one done?
Yeah, I think so. My wife and I are going out for breakfast this morning to meet up with some friends. I would probably have to not do that. I have to be like, nah, sorry.
Yeah, well, that's off the table.
Yeah. And then probably not record an episode of the On Work podcast today, even though Josh will be home and it would be a good day to do it.
It would be a good day to do it.
Yeah.
Because he's home.
Yeah. Probably be
He's also home every single night, though.
That is true.
But then he has a family, too.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
And the duplex, I'm striving to be more realistic. That is the maintenance stuff I have to take care of there is going to take longer than I think it will, and will be a lot harder than I think it will.
Are you planting hostas? Is that what you said? Or are you uprooting hostas?
Uprooting, dividing, and replanting.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, you could just mow over those suckers. That's the way to get rid of them. But if that's not what you want to do, so
yeah, no, I want to make it look pretty.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep. So,
all right.
Yeah, and there's just a lot of little stuff there. Like I got to repair a front step and some other small stuff. So, yeah.
Oh, you're going to be doing all that over there?
I think so.
So you have like the daily 7 over there.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a bunch of small sub things. I think if I'm actually thinking about like what is important, like really important to do, but not urgent, would be to sit down and do my weekly review, which is basically just like the big part of that is a goal review. So I'm looking at my quarterly and annual goals and thinking through like, what do I need to do this week to move the ball forward in each one of those? Because that's how I will actually, I think, organize my week so it goes somewhere. So the idea of, I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but the difference between efficiency and effectiveness. Efficiency is getting a lot of stuff done, but it doesn't necessarily, like you could be really, really efficient at getting all of the wrong things done. So efficiency isn't exactly the goal or what we want to be striving after, because it doesn't take into account, am I getting the right things done? Are they leading me to where I want to go? Or am I just getting stuff done, right? Effectiveness actually asks the question of, am I getting the right things done or not? Am I being effective towards a particular end or goal? And so trying to think more.
That reminds me of Peter Drucker's, Peter Drucker, father of modern thought management, has the example of what Mike is describing is the difference between a bunch of workers in a forest cutting down trees and someone pausing to go and climb one of the trees and then calling down, "Hey, we're in the wrong forest." And the workers shout back, "Shut up, but we're making progress." And that's the difference between effectiveness and being efficient. You could be super efficient in the wrong forest, but if you don't have your daily review, if you aren't looking at your goals for the year, you could be heading in an entirely wrong direction, and
Yeah.
cutting down the wrong trees, doing all this work for nothing.
That is such a great illustration of that. Cutting down. Yeah. And I think that's even something too, just that I need to sort of become more disciplined or more aware in asking when I'm choosing even my daily 3 of, because sometimes these are just the urgent stuff and it needs to get done.
Mm.
But really it's like, I should think through, like, are these things actually effective? Are they actually going to be on a daily level? Are they actually bringing me towards the things that I've decided I want to bring these things into existence, or I want to be in this place, or I want to get this thing to that point, or this relationship with this person to look like that? Like, so what are those daily things I have to be doing to get there, rather than just like swinging into the wind and hoping something happens?
Yeah, and I will also point out to any listeners out there who hear or have this kind of mindset where you hear what we're talking about and you're thinking, this seems such like a humanistic way to view life, where you're just concerned about what you want to do. And it is good to point out, like, in our when we do our annual reviews, or when we do our weekly reviews, or when we do our quarterly reviews, this is a process in which we bring these things before the Lord,
Yes.
and ask Him, like, what would be wise with what you've entrusted me to in this time, and how could I honor you with the life and the resources and the people that you've put in my life. So I think that's important to point out. Like, it might sound on the surface, if you don't know that behind it, this is all like brought before the Lord, and what we feel would be in some ways making most of our time in why we're here, with our lives, and how we love God and love others.
Right.
So, and then in that sense, it's a very wise thing to do.
Mm-hmm. And when I'm setting a goal here, I'm just bringing up my goal template, and these are a few things I think through in terms of that. Is first asking what needs to be done. And so for me, that is a responsibility thing. That is the roles that God has given me, entrusted to me.
Okay.
Whether that's
a more of a role question.
Yeah.
What needs to be done, or
yeah, of first ask what needs to be done. So within my roles, what is it that needs to be done? So there's something like as a husband, as a father, if that's something, right? As a church member, what are sort of those areas? As an employer, as a business owner, those sorts of things of what are my responsibilities here for stewardship? So asking like what things need to be done, and also asking the question of where can I contribute best? Not where can a contribution be made, but where can I actually like use my gifts, time, talent, the things that the Lord has blessed me with to actually do something or make a difference. So really considering like what part of the body am I and where can I contribute best? For the sake of others.
That's great.
A couple other things is just like, what are the constraints? So and that's recognizing limits, right? So that even comes with self-limits of like, I can't work 90 hours a week.
Nope.
That's not sustainable. And recognizing that, ultimately recognizing God is God. He doesn't need to rest. Everything is dependent on Him.
Praise the Lord.
But I do. And I am dependent on Him. And so recognizing those constraints. The other one is, so there's things like that I ask. Another one I have is, how can I pursue justice and mercy in my goals? So thinking through that as far as like, as the Lord has defined justice and the Lord has shown me mercy, how can I do things justly and pursue showing mercy to others in the goals that I set? And yeah, there's a couple other ones.
That's so good.
Those are sort of things I think about as in terms of
I so admire
like,
that, Mike.
How do I do that in a way that like brings my theology into goal setting?
Right.
And there's other things I do too. Like I tend to use the SMART goal template.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are a couple of things I think through. Is just like another, I think, good question is asking the question of what do I believe the Lord is calling to me or calling me to in this season of life, and thinking through that and just kind of answering that, and then choosing goals that like move us towards that end. So
that I love that you're integrating and letting, I would say, the values of God and His heart dictate and shape how you do goal setting, rather the reverse. Because it's very easy in goal setting and this world of productivity and being intentional to just be, it's very easy to use it as a guise to just be selfish.
Yeah,
I think,
certainly.
and to just focus on what you want. I'm guilty of that. I need to constantly, and that's part of the reason I do I try to do the weekly review. I do the quarterly review. I schedule that, and the annual review is
Nice.
so it's a way to kill the sin of selfishness within me, because it's times I've set aside to say, Lord, what do you want, not me?
Yeah.
Or yeah, how I love that. How does justice and mercy? How do I work in such a way that
Right.
that makes justice and mercy a reality in the world I live, my little sphere.
Yeah,
Of
exactly.
the world I live.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing is, it's like I am selfish. So if I don't sit down and think through those things and really question, like, what are my motives for choosing this as a goal?
Mhm.
Or like, why am I doing this? If I don't connect like my why to God's why, then it just becomes
That's a book title right there.
selfishness fest of I'm just gonna do everything I want when I want, and
What's Simon Sinek's book? The Why.
start with why.
Start with Why.
Yeah.
You should literally write a book called Start with God's Why.
Yeah.
Boom.
The question I was trying to think of is this question. I was trying to think of this earlier. So asking yourself the question at this point in your Christian journey, how do you envision your call to God's mission in the world?
Hmm.
And the way that I have answered that question is in this way, and personally, is to use ideas for the benefit and encouragement of others and the creation of cultures.
Hmm.
And so that's essentially
This is why you're listening to this.
Yeah. So, like, that's why part of why I did that, or part of the reason for doing the daily 3 is because for me, like, this fits that. So to use these ideas about work and vocation and theology for the benefit and encouragement of other people, and also to create a culture, a culture that says work is good, it's from the Lord. Work itself is not cursed, but there is a curse of sin, and that has made work hard. And we are tempted then to put so much of our value and significance in work, but ultimately our work won't save us. Only the work of Christ on our behalf will.
Yeah.
And one day he is going to restore work to the way it originally was in Genesis 2 in the garden. And we will get to do work in a way that is so free and so beautiful.
I cannot wait for that day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be glorious.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be real good. I'm going to be working alongside all these people I've known and read about in the Bible, and I don't know what we're going to be doing, but it'll be good.
And that's part of the reason why I'm excited for work, like now, and excited to do work, to think about work, to really try to figure out work, because there's sort of this American idea of heaven as us sitting on a bunch of clouds, wearing robes, plucking harps.
Yeah.
When really, it's like, I think the picture we get from the Bible is there is work in heaven. We will be working and doing things for God's glory and enjoyment, and those will be good things.
Because it won't be like heaven clouds. It will be the new heavens and the new earth. It will be like we will be living on the new earth that's been recreated in all the glorious splendor of God, and He will be our light. And it's like we aren't going to be on clouds. No, we're going to be on land. and Jesus will be there. That's going to be glory, and it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I also like that goal I see in your life, like in terms of concentric circles going outward. It's like you and you desire you try to create that in your own marriage.
Yeah. That
encouragement, or have these ideas be encouraging. You try to create that in this house of where Josh and Heaven and I live. And then it's like, in these ideas, it's kind of like who you have influence over. As your influence weakens, right? But your target audience isn't like the people that you have least weak influence with.
Yeah.
AKA the people who might be listening to this, whoever you are. Like,
sorry, no offense.
Yeah, like, because and that's a good thing. I think that's a healthy thing, because you could wear yourself out trying to influence the people who listen to this podcast, and they don't. I know, you're probably picking your nose right now listening to this, and it's, we don't know who you are, but but it's impacting me. It's encouraging me.
Yeah. Good.
Being in this house, and I'm so thankful for you to the Lord.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks. Yeah. So good job.
Yeah. Gracias, señor.
De nada, Miguel.
Another thing I do is, at least on a weekly review level, is the idea of, and I get this from Tim Chalais, but asking the question of serve and surprise. So how can I serve?
Did you say servant surprise?
Serve and surprise.
Serve and surprise.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
basically just asking the question of like, how or who can I serve? And then surprise is like, asking the question of like, who and how can I bring unexpected blessing to someone this week? And so just thinking through, well, what would that look like?
Yeah.
And just kind of like ideating through those things and coming up with some creative ways to just serve and bless the people in your life.
And what a joy to do.
Oh yeah, it's so fun. That's probably one of my favorite parts of like doing a weekly review is thinking through that question. So, how about for you, man? What are your daily 3?
So this is interesting. Maybe this is a bonus episode, a little bit of that we might talk about. But
sure.
Right now, I'll do the daily 3 first. So daily 3 for me is I have a coaching appointment today. So I'm going to be doing that with a guy, a church planter. I'm going to be working on my website, and I'm going to be working on the gospel commentary.
Nice.
So those are my daily 3.
Can I ask you a question about them?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to define them as working on, or do you want to define them in terms of the result that you want to bring about? Or like, I want to be this far on this project, rather than just like, I want to work on it.
I specifically chose working on today because I'm so discouraged from trying to make a specific task and fail at it. So I was like, let's just lower those expectations today. Just say working on it. Today I just want to spend some hours on each one of those. So maybe that can be how I
you
can
get
be
more specific.
I could be,
define the time frame.
Spend 2 hours working, spend 2 hours with the coaching appointment, spend 2 hours on working on gracely.org, and spend 2 hours on the gospel commentary. So I think that might be a better way, at least today.
Yeah.
So those are my daily 3.
All right, man. Nice.
Yeah. So let's you got to go. So let's end it here.
Yeah.
In the future though, I do want to have a bonus episode. I want to talk about how I want to just figure this out with you, and we'll just do it live. We'll do it live.
Doing it live.
Cuz I still am kind of operating through this idea of, when I think of the daily 3, I've been thinking of it as my work day, which is kind of from like 9 to 5. And you do it more as your whole life, of like, what is the most important thing in your life?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things tied up into why I think that. I think I put pressure on myself, or I don't know if I feel like there's a duty involved there that we can talk about. And also because I have, like, in my life for my daily 3 right now, I have working on my dad's realty uploads, daily 3 editing, and and working on my own website.
Yeah.
But I don't plan to do that during what I consider my like working day. So
what do you mean? You don't plan to work on those things from your like 9 to 5 time frame?
No.
Oh.
Not at all.
So what are you doing on your 9 to 5?
The 9 to 5 will be the coaching appointment, the website, and the gospel commentary, and maybe some fundraising. So yeah, 9 to 5 will be Grace Lead. Probably 5 to 7 will be Hope. And then anytime from now until I start, and then at the end of the night will be my other life, my second life.
Your second life.
Doing not the game. My second life, doing other stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know. I need to process that, to think through.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We'll have a conversation about that at some point here.
Yeah. Otherwise, and now we can, if we ever forget, we can just go back and listen to what we talked about to be like, oh yeah, we're going to have a conversation about that.
That's right.
So this has been another episode of the Daily 3.
The Daily 3.
Write it down.
Make it happen.
And take a nap.
Take a nap.
Thanks.
Dear refuge of my weary soul. sorrows rise.